A man in Fuquay-Varina had one wish in life, and that was to go to space. Steve Nielsen wasn't an astronaut, he wasn't a billionaire, so in his lifetime, blasting beyond Earth's atmosphere just wasn't in the cards. It wasn't until after Steve died that he achieved his dream. You see, earlier this week, some of Steve's remains, some of his ashes, were sent to space, and they were supposed to come back to Earth, but something happened. Let's back up just a bit. Shooting people's ashes off into space has been a thing for a long time. There's a company called Celestis. They've been doing this since 1997. This is video from their Discovery flight in 2009. They put the remains into capsules, strap them into a rocket, and launch them into space. They've done this 26 times in their history, memorializing more than 2,500 people. Celestis offers a bunch of different services. The company told us that they don't release ashes into actual space. That could cause some real problems for satellites and spacecrafts and that sort of thing. But they can send them up and bring them back, like what Steve Nielsen's family wanted to do. It's not cheap. To send 1 gram of ashes to space and back costs $3,400. The most expensive option is to land your loved one's remains on the moon. This costs $50,000. Now, some of you might think that this sounds a little ridiculous, like maybe a waste of time and money, but consider that we do all kinds of interesting things to memorialize our loved ones. There's a company that combines ashes with concrete. They add it to a man-made reef off the coast. Another company turns ashes into jewelry. There's another one that will turn your ashes into fireworks. I mean, the point is, we do get pretty creative when it comes to honoring the dead. So there you have it, sending ashes into space. And it's a very touching event for the family. This is video from that launch on Monday night. The families watched from a distance, hugging and crying and remembering their loved ones, watching a truly unique memorial take place. The remains of 166 people were on board this flight, including Steve from Fuquay-Varina. He died in 2023 after many years battling heart and kidney failure. Steve was a huge science fiction fan, Star Wars and Star Trek, that sort of thing. As a kid, he would joke that aliens from Area 51 abducted him. Steve simply loved space, but he loved his family a whole lot more. He and his wife met in their high school youth group building playgrounds for kids in Pembroke. They grew up, got married, and had a son named Andrew.
My son and I loved my husband very, very much. And we are glad that he was able to go to outer space. And we are blessed that we were able to have that happen.
That is Karen Nielsen. That is Steve's wife. We spoke to her after this week's launch. She said it meant the world to them to see her husband go to space.
The joy and exultation we felt watching him go into space, that was a lifelong dream of his and something he truly wanted to do. We felt immensely proud and excited. We were happy for him. I thought I could hear him laughing. Unfortunately, as you know, his ashes will not be returned to us.
That's right. Steve's ashes are not coming back. You see, something went wrong on the mission. These are the capsules that went up in the rocket. They orbited the Earth a few times, but when it came time for the capsules to come home, the parachute broke, and the capsules with Steve and 165 other people crashed into the Pacific Ocean. Celestis wrote an email to the family saying, "We regret to share that an anomaly occurred during re-entry. The parachute system failed, resulting in the capsule impacting the Pacific Ocean and dispersing its contents at sea. We believe that we will not be able to recover or return the flight capsules." Can you believe that? Steve Nielsen went to space, ended up in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Now, to be clear, Celestis didn't take all of his ashes to space, only about 1 gram, which is a tiny amount. Celestis says this has never happened before, and they apologized to the families and offered them a new flight free of charge if they like. All that said, you can understand how this could be difficult and confusing for those families. On one hand, you have the emotion of sending a loved one into space. And on the other hand, you have the disappointment of losing a piece of those remains. We asked his wife, Karen, how we should approach this story. Should we be uplifted? Should we feel upset? Here's what she said.
I would say this is the craziest week of my life. So I would say I'm about stuck in the middle. We've had some really great moments. We knew, we're practical and we're realistic. We know that anything could have happened. He had fought against diabetes for over 20 years, along with heart and kidney failure. How many people can say they actually went into outer space? And even if it happened after he passed, well, in my book, that's still a win.
So Karen and her family, they knew the risks, but it was important to them to honor their father, their husband, Steve, in this way. It is what he always wanted, so why not? And whether it comes from the cosmos or the ocean or the church where the rest of his remains are interred, I bet Steve's smiling. His dream realized, his science fiction turned to science fact.